let's bring up the speech, okay? So here it is, the signing of treaties on the accession of the Lugansk People's Republics in the Zaporozhye and Kherson regions to Russia. All right, let me zoom in a little bit for you all. So this was this was Putin addressing a ceremony that took place in the Grand Kremlin Palace's St. George Hall. All right, so with that, let's get into this, because this is really important. I mean, so many points that you don't expect Vladimir Putin or really any world leader at this moment to address in this way, so directly. So he says, citizens of Russia, citizens of the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, residents of Zaporozhye and Kherson regions, deputies of the State Duma, senators of the Russian Federation. As you know, referendums have been held in the Donetsk and Lugansk People's Republics, in the Zaporozhye and Kherson regions. The ballots have been counted and the results have been announced. The people have made their unequivocal choice. Today, we will sign treaties on the accession of the Donetsk People's Republic, Lugansk People's Republic, Zaporozhye region, and Kherson region to the Russian Federation. I have no doubt that the Federal Assembly will support the constitutional laws on the accession to Russia and the establishment of 4 new regions, our new constituent entities of the Russian Federation, because this is the will of millions of people. It is undoubtedly their right, an inherent right sealed in Article 1 of the UN Charter, which directly states the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples. Now, this is very different from how the Western media, the corporate media, especially in the United States, has portrayed this. I want to show you something. I want to show you how the corporate media, how the New York Times has portrayed this, because I was sent this from someone who's been very supportive of this program and who has helped a lot with the redesign process, with that incredible introduction that you saw, that you waited 20, 30 minutes to listen to. So they sent me this. Let me show you what the New York Times had to say about this. Because to me, it's just a reflection of, and this is a reel found on Instagram. This is the New York Times. This is what they have to say about the referendums and the legitimacy of them. Vladimir Putin is saying it's the right of self-determination of nations, right? Of peoples. Peoples have the right to assert their sovereignty. Well, here's what the New York Times has to say. Oops, where's the volume on this? There it is. Here we go.
І явка така не була масова, і дуже проти цього референдуму, і ніхто не хоче приєднатися до Росії. Ніхто. Просто з натиском з цим люди бояться.
So no one wants to join Russia, but yet 90+% of people who voted wanted to join Russia. Now, even if you concede, all right, we don't know how, if you weren't on the ground, even though there were dozens upon dozens of international observers who have not stated any issues with the electoral process, big issues that would cause kind of a question in legitimacy of the vote. But if we were to concede, okay, we can't be 100% sure that so many people voted, but those who did vote, and it was a massive amount of people, right? We're talking about in the millions. A massive amount of people did vote, and they voted to join Russia. So obviously, some people want to join the Russian Federation. So already the New York Times is showing their incredibly biased anti-Russian slant. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Stage managed. They call it stage managed. How insulting to call it stage managed. I mean, that basically means that everyone in the Donbass territories who participated in this were just actors. And you know what you can do to actors? You can dehumanize them, and then you can continue what Ukraine has been doing for how many years? 8+ years? You continue to shell them. You can continue to kill them, to prevent them from being able to assert their sovereignty, their culture, their way of life. That's what's been happening. Scott Ritter and others have called this not just a proxy war, but Ukraine's campaign in the Donbass as ethnic cleansing. So if you call it stage managed, you're reinforcing that incredibly racist anti-Russia sentiment that has fueled the proxy war since 2014. Now, we're going to get into that in Putin's speech. So let's keep going so we can get back to the speech.
От такий референдум, от таке виявлення. Отак у нас ходять під дулами автомата і заставляють.
Where? Where are the assault rifles? They're talking to someone who's supposedly saying this, but watch, they don't show any images of this. They don't show any video of this.
Підписувати.
The annexation of the captured territories. This is the most brutal violation of the UN Charter. This is an attempt to steal the territory of another state. This is an attempt to erase the norms of international law. This is a very cynical attempt to force the male population in the occupied territory of Ukraine to mobilize into the Russian army.
Says the guy who mobilized hundreds of thousands of people in Ukraine, even the most far-right neo-Nazi elements, to commit ethnic cleansing in the Donbass. That's not at all against international norms, I don't think, or to be servile to the United States and NATO, which have literally dozens of times violated international norms, as he calls them, in the most vile and disgusting ways. So Mr. Zelensky, of course, is just promoting what we already knew he would promote, because not 24 hours after that these referendums were held, what did he do? He tried to fast track Ukraine into NATO, and that failed. That failed dramatically.